Have you guys heard of this new model called Sora? It's a new model launched by OpenAI, basically the hugest AI company, maybe one of the hugest AI companies out there right now. After launching GPT 3.5, GPT 4, custom GPTs, we now got Sora, a crazy text to video generator. Sora is a video generation model. It can extend existing videos, it can create videos from images, and most importantly and most crazily, create videos from text prompts. These videos that it generates are up to 60 seconds in length, which is pretty impressive. That's a lot of frames, and there is a lot of cohesion that needs to be done within 60 seconds. What Sora essentially does to generate videos is that it goes through and creates a video with a lot of static noise in it, and then it goes through and cleans out the static noise and fills it in to create that beautiful final product that we see in the demo videos, right? This is what's called a diffusion model and is what Sora is built upon. The way that the user interacts with Sora primarily is just through providing a text prompt and getting out the resulted video in its full form, not having to worry about any of that static or anything like that. And I want to show you guys some pretty cool looking examples from Sora itself. And you kind of see this image kind of going over this kind of natural looking scene. It's kind of interesting how it kind of generates real world footage, right? It kind of looks like a drone shot almost, how the camera is moving, which I do find pretty interesting, but it does honestly look pretty realistic. Something about the quality in this one too, just of the camera per se, where it kind of looks kind of old type of vibe, you know, it isn't like the sharpest 4K type of footage, which I also find kind of interesting based on the prompt. Next footage we have here is of this car kind of driving around. I find the detail in the dust actually pretty cool, kind of, you know, the dust kicking up, it's pretty detailed. But there is something about this that's honestly kind of a little bit uncanny for me. Like, something about the way that the camera moves, something about the way that the car is kind of moving. It almost seems like a video game, kind of like Forza or something. Like, it doesn't, like, there's something about it that just, like, makes it different from real life. Like, I can't tell you what, but I don't know. Just let me know in the comments if you guys feel the same way about this one. Moving over to this one, honestly, I don't think there's anything too crazy in this. I think the thing that was interesting to me is the flooring here and kind of how it did the flooring and kind of the variance in the wood. I kind of found interesting for some reason. It's pretty interesting, it's pretty detailed, so that's what I got out of this one. So this example is pretty interesting. The guy kind of running backwards on the treadmill. For some reason, the camera is like shaking a lot here. I don't know if because running was in the prompt, so it just decided like, oh, it's running, so it should be shaky. Like, I don't know, but the camera movement in all of these is honestly pretty interesting. The shadow on the wall here is also pretty interesting, how it actually got that like pretty accurate and pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. And the physics here also looks really good in my opinion. Then moving over to the last example I want to show. So it's kind of interesting. It almost looks like it's been taken on an iPhone with like, you know, HDR type of footage, right? Like everything is very poppy, very contrasty. You know, big contrast from the other footage that I was saying, you know, of the natural type of scene that looked like kind of old footage. This looks like completely different. You can also see as the dog is kind of moving around, like it's trying to do the physics and it's kind of getting it okay. But again, there's just something a little bit wrong with it. But I think in time with more training and stuff like that, maybe LoRa, stuff like that, it'll probably get better. I think some potential application of this firstly could be in the education field in terms of kind of, you know, kind of visualizing examples, visualizing kind of training footage, things like that with this. I think content creation, this could also be interesting, like just generating like social media footage, marketing footage, you know, ads, stuff like that. I think it could be pretty interesting because now, you know, maybe smaller startups and stuff, instead of having to have a whole production for an ad, you could just use one of these, you know, create a bunch of different little frames and kind of stitch them together maybe with an editor, and that's all you need. You know, from your bedroom, you could make like a very quality, you know, commercial, and this could maybe help small businesses, you know, get off the ground and stuff like that. I think in entertainment, this has a pretty clear use, right? I think it's gonna be used a lot in like maybe animation and like visualizing stuff, maybe in stuff like animating different storyboards, you know, stuff like that, kind of bringing ideas to life. So when talking about a new model like this, it's very important for us to actually talk about safety, guys. So this is gonna have a huge impact on many different industries, right? Firstly, we can think about like the creative industry and stuff like copyright and things like that could be potentially abused by these, in terms of people just being able to basically rip off people's IP and stuff like that by creating videos, basically just of movies and things like that, depending on kind of what the model was trained on. In addition to that, you know, obviously there's always deepfakes, misinformation, stuff like that, where you could generate videos of people doing things or saying things that they never actually did or said. spreading a lot of kind of misinformation and things like that, right? This is like infinitely worse than a deep fake, honestly, because you can kind of just easily generate something that probably looks exactly like someone in high fidelity doing anything, right? And OpenAI is responding to this by doing something called C to P metadata, where they basically go through and add this metadata into every single generated video, where you can actually go through and tell which videos are generated by this AI and which videos aren't, right? But there are still problems with this, right? They do this with Dolly right now, but if you just take a screenshot of Dolly's picture, then that metadata is gone, and there's no way for someone to actually analyze the picture and analyze the metadata and know you implemented it with Dolly. So, there are problems with that, but, OpenAI is working with that. They're also adversarially testing these different softwares, meaning that they're actually sending red teamers to go through and try and abuse these softwares, try and break these softwares, and then based on the results that they're getting, continue to secure it further and further. It's kind of like an arms race between the people who are trying to jailbreak it and abuse it and the people who are trying to protect it and add safety measures. If depending if you consider those safety measures to be good, if you consider lobotomizing the models to be good. And it's kind of an interesting discussion as to what we should actually allow models like this to generate and what we should go ahead and stop it from generating. Alright guys, to conclude, Sora is a huge new video generation AI that has just come out by OpenAI. You can go ahead and check out some samples on their website. It's pretty crazy, it's pretty huge, things like that. I think that in the future, we might even see some other, open source video generation things maybe. I know there's kind of already some stuff like that, but it's not even at the level of Sora at all. Maybe we'll see something by Google or something like that, right? Like Google just launched Gemini, which was interesting, so maybe now they try to launch some sort of video generation to compete with Microsoft. So I think it'll be pretty interesting. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any other predictions for what you think is going to happen. Maybe drop some GitHub links to some cool open source video generation projects. Thank you guys for watching. Join my Discord down in the description. If you guys want to communicate with me and communicate with my other watchers and other kind of AI enthusiast types of people, also go ahead and make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye.